Swadhisthana Chakra, welcome. Sva means one's own, and Adhisthana is dwelling place. So Swadhisthana really is our dwelling place, the home of the unconscious, the universal womb it has been called. The element for Swadhisthana is water, symbolised by a white crescent moon. Physiologically, Swadhisthana is in charge of our kidneys, our reproductive and urinary systems. So of course for women that's our womb, our ovaries, our vagina. And it's also responsible for the uterovaginal plexus of nerves. So as you know, there are so many nerves feeding that area, and Swadhisthana is in charge of all of those. Where is it? Well, right at the base of the spine, at the coccyx. If you go up from that about an inch and then go in towards the front by about half an inch, that's where they say Swadhisthana resides. So you can actually get a bit of an idea. And the Kshitram, where it comes out at the front, is at the pubic bone. So that's where we find Swadhisthana. It's quite close to Muladhara actually. I've noticed a lot of people say it's up around the belly, but not so. We get up to the navel in the next chakra, Manipura. The ocean is often used as a symbol of the unconscious mind. There's sort of a line here you'll notice between the sky representing the conscious mind and the water representing the unconscious mind or dimension. The observance of a vegetarian diet is said to be an important practice for awakening this chakra. But yeah, I think we can live our lives and still do it. The tanmatra or sense of Swadhisthana is taste, and the sense of knowledge is in the tongue. And there's actually some really interesting things that committed yogis do, like cutting that little bit underneath the tongue so they can make it much longer and fold it back and get it up into the sinuses, and it's quite wild. So we know that Ida comes out from Muladhara at the left, and Pingala comes out from Muladhara at the right, and Sushumna goes up the middle of our spinal column. So Ida is going in front of Swadhisthana, and Pingala is going behind it. So the feminine is not dominant, but forward in this chakra. Meditating on Kundalini in Swadhisthana is supposed to immediately free us from the internal enemies of lust and anger, greed. Words become nectar, flowing in prose, verse, and well-reasoned discourse. We become like the sun, illumining the ignorance of darkness. We are aiming to master our animal instincts here. Here is where you'll find shame around sex and self-sabotage and self-criticism. It is the collective unconscious containing seeds of karmas, which are inherent subconscious imprints, and samskaras, which are mental impressions. So they all make an imprint on this area. So for example, something wonderful might have happened yesterday, and that's made an imprint on your etheric body and stored in Swadhisthana, and that will affect your behaviour today, even though that memory isn't in your conscious mind. So the storehouse of unconscious memory. Every perception, experience and dissociation is recorded. So even the storehouse of remote ancestral memories, all of these are here in Swadhisthana. When we pass the Swadhisthana border, there may be a lot of sexual fantasies arising and can't get your mind off sex. But keep in mind that sex is an expression of primal energy. It's not to be transcended, but embraced in its sublimated pure form in Swadhisthana. There's altogether too much disembodying on the spiritual path and thinking that sex is somehow wrong or impure, and that is not the case at all, as we know. Matter is energy, just more densely packed energy. And this whole body is consciousness, and we can actually use sex to help Kundalini awaken and flow through the chakra system. Swadhisthana acts as a switch for Bindu, which is another little point that we'll talk about at the back of the head, where the Buddhists have the little plait sometimes. And this is said to be the point where primal sound originates. So all our Shakti Bandha asanas, the ones that Malia is taking you through, are really important to practice because they unblock the flow of prana in the body, and that's what we're aiming for, unfettered flow of prana throughout our body. So we're just going to do a little mudra, Sahajoli mudra. It's quite similar to Muladhara, but we're going to pulse. So you can use one of the heels if possible to press hard on the pubis, and we're going to pull up those vaginal muscles, the ones that we isolated in Muladhara, and hold for 10, breathing normally. Release for 10. And hold for 10. We're also going to do Ashvini Mudra. So just relax, close your eyes, breathe normally, and contract the sphincter muscles of the anus for half a second. Relax and contract and really get that pulse going from the anus, and we're going to be directing that energy in waves. Try to feel those waves of energy spreading throughout Swadhisthana Chakra. When you meditate on Swadhisthana, try to see a dark ocean at night. It might be turbulent, full of waves, that's fine. It might be calm, reflecting starlight. It's all good. Swadhisthana, one's own abode.